Hello everyone, it's your girl Shakkeene Layne, also known as Shax, and I am the founder and CEO of Layne's Apparel, which is a made-to-measure fashion business. I'm also the founder and CEO of Layne's Cosmetics, which is an all-natural skincare and hair care line. Now today's video is gonna be how I overcame my depression. So growing up, I suffered from depression. My depression was terrible, and every time I started to overcome my depression, I would have a relapse and it would be worse than the time before. So today I'm going to share with you guys how I overcame that, and I'm just going to give you guys a little advice for persons who might be going through depression right now and you eagerly want to get over it. I'm just going to give you some advice, and I'm just going to give like some general life advice that can help anyone. So I'm just going to give a little backstory on my depression. I think I started suffering from depression. To be honest, I can't really remember the age, but I know it was at a very early age. I'm not gonna say what led to my depression directly, but let's just say some childhood issues. So I had some childhood issues. As I grew, my issues also grew. And then when in 2018, I got some bigger issues. Now, growing up, I never really tried to overcome my depression. I just wanted to more so cover the depression. So instead of having persons know that I was depressed, I just did things to make me not look depressed. But the issue was still there. In 2018, I started my tertiary level education. I'm not going to specify it with school. I started my tertiary level education, and at that point, my depression was it was damaging at that point, because I was working a year before that. Also, I'm not going to state where I was working, and there was someone at the workplace that he used to make me feel so uncomfortable, and he would pick at me and do all of these things. So that really did not make my situation any better. Then I went to school. School started great. I was doing good. My depression was under control. I was happy. I was at peace until I had an issue with a lecturer, and then he unleashed hell on me in that school. So from that point, my depression went up, and in 2020, I wanted to die. I was sick, and I was tired of my depression. My depression was bigger than I was. I lost so much weight because I had gained a lot of weight, and I lost all of that weight, and I got I was so slim. I think I was more slim than when I actually started the school. I lost a lot of weight, and it was really telling on me. I was not able to study, focus, none of that. It was terrible. Then COVID came, and we were sent home from school, and I was the happiest person because I finally had some time away from that place, and I would be at home and I would get to spend more time with myself. However, situations got worse, and it sent me down. It sent me really, really down. I think it was in May of 2021, I made the conscious decision to overcome my depression. And that's where my tips come in on how I overcame my depression. So the first thing I did, I wrote a lot. Instead of talking to persons about what I was feeling, I would write them. So whenever I was on the go, I would just go into my Gmail account, and then I would click to compose a mail, and I would just express all my feelings there, and then I would just click the back button on the phone, and then it would be saved as drafts. I actually started doing that in GSA, but at this point, I had taken it way more seriously, and I would write every feeling, everything that upset me. I would just put it there. I would just express it there. And the reason why I did that over talking to people is because I'm a very passionate person. And whenever I start talking about things, the moment somebody encourages me, I'm going to go on and on and on and on and on. And it's not really, it is a form of letting it out, but then I would make the problem bigger than what it is. by letting it out, because I think a lot. I'm a fast thinker, so I'm gonna talk about it, and then I'm gonna think of like 10 other things that could make this situation worse. And that's how I was. So instead of speaking to add wood to the fire, I just wrote it down, kind of like throwing water to the fire. So I wrote it down. That's the first thing I did. The second thing I did, I started to write down certain things that I wanted to get over, and I would write it in a particular way. So when I first started, like, just say something bit me and I was feeling pain, I would say a mosquito bit me and now I'm feeling pain. That's how I would write before, because I would write it based on whatever happened. I would just put it over in present tense, because I'm feeling it now. So I started by doing that. Then I started by writing it in past tense, like, oh, this happened. And then I went on to putting it in a way, let me see how to explain this. Basically, I would write it, and then I would put like a positive feedback to the outcome. So I would put, a mosquito bit me, but the next time it happens, I'm gonna be more conscious so it doesn't happen again. And if it does happen, then I'll be prepared to handle it. I hope that example is gonna help you to get where I'm coming from, because I don't really know how exactly to like explain it. So I really hope that's gonna help. But that's what I did. So I kind of looked at everything in somewhat of like a positive sense. So I wrote down all the things that were really, really affecting me, like all the big issues. I just wrote them down, and then I kind of like rewrote it in a way that would help me to have like a positive outlook on it instead of such a negative outlook on it, if that makes sense. So I started doing that, and then at this point I started suffering from anxiety. So like, that was terrible. Anybody that suffers from anxiety knows that it's not a nice thing, it's not a cute thing. And I would cry. I cried every day. Sometimes I cried multiple times a day. Like, I was super, super hurt, and I cried a lot. I really cried a lot. So while working on overcoming the anxiety, I must say, like, that was a lot to deal with. Like, it really was. But I continued doing what I was doing, and then from that I started to spend time with myself. So I would, in the mornings, when I wake up, instead of like speaking to anybody, so I would try to get up before everybody else woke up. I would just go outside into the yard and just be there. Like, I would sit on the ground, and I would just be there with the trees, and I just relax. Sometimes I close my eyes, I do deep breathing, and I would just take in everything. I would just take everything in. And I'm gonna be honest with you, I think that is what helped me the most. Like, connecting with nature, that really helped me. Okay, fast forward from that. After that whole little phase, I did experience something very traumatic. But at that time, I was at a place where, the work that I had put in previously, like, it was not a lot, but it was enough to get me through that traumatic experience without sending me back into depression. So I'm very, very happy for that. Fast forward to recently, just before I went through my whole transformation, I started doing things that would contribute to my mental health. So I started avoiding people that, would put me at a place where I would feel a certain way about myself. And I started clinging to myself more. I started doing things by myself, and I started doing things that makes me happy. Like, just me. Regardless of how other people feel about it, I just started doing things that made me happy. I started spending more time with me. So I love the seawall, so I would go to the seawall, spend time with myself. Like, I would sit there for hours, and I started reading on certain things. So I started reading on my spirituality. I started reading on how to control certain things emotionally, how to control certain things mentally, and not just how to control, but how to accept these things. Because the truth is, a lot of times we want to be in control, but we don't have to be in control. We just need to accept things the way that they are, and then we have to work with them so that they don't affect us and we don't affect them, because everything does not need to be how you think they need to be. That's just the reality. So I started accepting things the way they are. I started accepting people the way that they are. And let me tell you something. In your transformation process, you are gonna have to accept the fact that people are the way that they are, and you either love them for who they are or you don't. You don't have to love them, but don't be over here trying to change nobody from who they really are. Either you love them for who they are, or you can cut ties with them like I do. If I don't like you for all of you, I don't deal with you, period. There's gonna be things that the persons that I like are gonna have that I'm not gonna agree with, but as long as I can deal with that and it does not affect me, I'm gonna keep talking to them. But if it affects me and I can't deal with it, then I cut them off and I let them know that this is why we're not gonna get along. So I'm just gonna let you do you and I'm gonna do me, because my aim is not to change anybody, and I would not want anybody to try to change me. So I had to come to the realization that you just need to accept things and people for who they are and for the way that they are, and you learn to move on. It's not about, now don't get me wrong, when I say accept people the way they are and accept things for what they are, don't think that I'm trying to say that you should be nonchalant. That's not what I'm saying. It's not about being nonchalant, because being nonchalant means that you kind of don't give a shit. Like, regardless whether people are being good to you, people are being bad to you, you don't give a shit. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is to have healthy boundaries, to know that if somebody has some traits that are not, they're not going to serve you in any way, or they're disturbing your peace, then you remove them. It's not about being nonchalant. It's just about having healthy boundaries. And that takes me on to my next step, which is to have healthy boundaries. You need to have boundaries. If you do not have boundaries, things are going to go haywire. And you are going to make some progress, and then you are going to fall all the way back to your, what should I say, your base programming, which is depression. If you do not have boundaries, you're going to accept things that you should not accept. You're going to tolerate things you should not tolerate, and that is going to set you back a whole lot. Because what you need to remember is the things that you have been accepting, they are things that were on the level that you were on. In order for you to elevate yourself from that level, you need to stop accepting the things that you were accepting at that point. Especially if those things were like the main cause of your depression, then you need to know that you have to set boundaries and you need to avoid those things. Now, it's not gonna be easy, and we all know the saying, it's easier said than done, and that is totally correct. But you need to start working on it. And a lot of times we start doing things by proclaiming it. So we talk and then we work towards it. So go ahead, talk about it, but don't just be all about talk. Do the work that you have to do and set those boundaries, and let people know that regardless of who they are, you have your boundaries and they're not allowed to cross your boundaries. Now, just note that when you first set these boundaries, you are gonna mess up, and that is pretty okay. You don't have to kill yourself. It's okay. You're gonna make mistakes. It's a whole transformation. You're gonna be okay. Now, after that, I went through my transformation, and then there's some other things that I started doing after the transformation. So I'm going to share that with you. I started spending a lot of time with myself. Like, before I would spend time with myself, but it was not as much as I do now. Now I make time for myself. Most times I clear a whole day for myself. Sometimes I clear 2 days for myself, sometimes 3 days for myself. How much ever time I feel like I need, I ensure that I give that to myself. And in order for me to do that, I had to develop discipline, because what I was doing before, I was neglecting my responsibilities and making time for myself because I'm important. But but in everything you do, there needs to be a balance. So now I have the discipline. When it's time for me to work, I get my work done, so that, with the other days that I don't have to do anything, I can just have those time for myself. And I really do spend time on myself. There's times when I don't come on my phone for a whole day. Doesn't really bother me. or I might come on early in the morning and then I come on late in the night and I'm off the phone during the day and I feel great. Okay? I feel great. And then I do avoid going out with friends sometimes. I really do avoid going out with friends a lot. Sometimes the only body that can really get me to go anywhere when I don't want to go is my best friend. Yeah. Yeah, she's not a bully, but it's just that whenever she comes, I just want to spend so much time with her. So sometimes she might want me to go somewhere, and I kind of don't want to go, but then I just want to spend time with her, so I go so I can spend time with her. If that makes sense. But yeah, but I don't really go out a lot. I stay at home a lot. I really do stay at home a lot, and most times whenever I go out, it's just for business or to take myself out, and I really do spend a lot of time with myself. So let me tell you what spending time with myself looks like. I love cooking. It's my new hobby, and I've been doing, well, you know, I do it every day because I gotta eat, but like I experiment with new things. So sometimes I would dedicate a day to myself and I just cook up nice things for myself, and then I sit and I fill myself up with good stuff, and then I just relax and wait to go eat again. But like I spend so much time with myself. I would play nice music, I would sit, I'd look at myself, I admire myself, I give myself advice, all that good stuff. Like I really do spend time with myself as though I'm spending time with another person. So that has helped me a whole lot because the love for myself has grown, and mm, 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 mm. I won't trade it for anything in the world. Trust me, self-love is the best love. I've also started paying attention to my skin and my skincare. So as you can see, my skin is doing much better. I am as known to be prone to breakouts, like anything a little mess up with my skin routine, and it's done for me for months. But I've been doing great, and you know, I must say I'm grateful for the progress that I have been making. Another thing that I do is I don't really reach out to people as much as I did before. And I know a lot of depressed people, that's what we do. We reach out to people. A lot of depressed people reach out to people. So it's because like when you're at that stage, you don't want anybody else to be at that stage with you. So you're gonna reach out to people and try to help everybody, and then you feel like nobody is helping you because you're always reaching out to them. So like that's one thing I had to learn to do. I'm still learning to keep to myself. And it's not saying that, oh, you're not gonna try to help somebody, whatever, whatever, whatever. But it's like you're now learning to walk. Can you be holding up somebody else that is also learning to walk while you're still falling? Now you can give generalized advice, but then trying to be there and to help them through it, sometimes that's gonna throw you off. And if you don't know your balance, at this point I know my balance, so I can reach out to people. But I'm saying, just after I went through the transformation, I was not reaching out to people. Now I can, because now I'm at a point where I have a balance and I know not to give all of myself to somebody and then recharge myself. I know that I give a little and then I recharge. That's what I know now. But when you're now going through your process, kindly keep to yourself. Be like a bear in hibernation. Like just keep to yourself. Because in order for you to help people, you need to be healed. You need to be fully healed in order for you to help other people. Because if not, you're going to be taking on their baggages and you're just going to set yourself back and you're going to be right back at square one. So I would say those are all the tips. So let me just recap. I might miss a few while I recap because I said so much. But the first thing I did, I started writing down my feelings. Then I started writing my feelings with a positive outcome. The next thing I did, I started spending time with myself and with, I would say, start spending time with nature. I made that a priority every weekday. I should say from Monday to Fridays. I would wake up early and go spend time with myself and nature. I will go spend time with nature. The other thing I said I did, that was when I went through the anxiety. I cried a lot. And it's okay for you to cry. Like letting go of stuff. You might cry a lot. That is okay. Please don't feel bad about yourself. And kindly do not feel as though you're weak. It's a form of strength. So I cried a lot. So cry a lot. Another thing is I was patient with myself, because a lot of times I started doing things and then I messed up, and then I did it again and then I messed up. So be patient with yourself. And then I set healthy boundaries. You need to have healthy boundaries. If you don't have healthy boundaries, you are gonna mess up your progress. And then I started spending a lot of time with myself. I started treating myself the way I would treat someone else. Another tip, I stopped going out as much as before. So I stopped mixing my energy with other people's energy, because, like I said, while you're going through your transformation, you're like a bear that's hibernating. So just please, as much time as you could just spend with yourself, you need to spend with yourself. And one thing I did not touch on, because I have not done this, a lot of times, like whenever we're going through a transformation, we would do certain things. Like for some people, they would cut their hair. For other people, they might go get a piercing or go get a tattoo. I did none of those things. But just in case you're feeling the urge to go do it, go right ahead and do it. It's okay to do something new. Like change is beautiful. Change should be embraced. So if you feel like you're at a point where you need to change certain things, or you need to add something to your appearance, you go right ahead and do it. Like whatever's gonna make you comfortable during this process, you go ahead and do it and embrace it, and don't have anybody make you feel bad about it. And I would say the last thing, and a very important thing that I had to accept is that you need to accept people the way that they are, and you need to accept things the way that they are. There are some things that you're going to be able to change, and there are some things you're not going to be able to change. You need to be okay, and you need to understand that you don't have to be in control of everything for everything to be all right. So those are my tips on how I overcame depression, and I'm just gonna give a little bit of advice as you go through your transformation, whether you suffer from depression, anxiety, any form of a mental illness, or if you just want to make your life better by making better choices. Then what I'm gonna say is that in all that you do, you have to be patient with yourself. You need to understand that the things that you're about to do, they're going to be new to you. The steps you're about to take, they're going to be new to you. Like all of these things will be new to you. You need to be patient with yourself, because you are going to mess up, and then you're going to, first you're going to mess up, and then you're going to put yourself back together, and then you're going to go again. You need to keep doing that until you get it right. There is no time frame of how long it should take. For me, it took over a year. There's no time frame of how long it's gonna take. Now you can look at that and say, oh God, a whole year. Or you could start now, and then you might get your transformation faster than I've gotten mine. So don't look at it like that. Don't look at it like, oh my God, a whole year, or oh my God, 2 years. Like, don't look at it like that. Just look at it like, if I started today, then 364 days left. Look at it that way. Just be be happy about what you're about to do. Be positive, and everything is gonna work out just fine for you. Be patient with yourself. Be very understanding. You need to, as you go through your whole self-love process, you're gonna understand that you have to love parts of yourself that you don't really love, and there are gonna be parts of yourself that you think you love, but then as you get to understand those parts deeper, you might not like them, you might not love them anymore, and then you're gonna have to learn how to accept those parts and love them all over again, but this time in a way that nothing can remove that love. So I wish you well on your transformation, and just know that you are capable of doing anything that you put your mind to. You are able to get over your depression, your anxiety, or any other mental illness that you may be suffering. You are able to change from the person that you are today to the person that you so desire to be. And just put your best foot forward, do the work that's necessary, and everything is going to work out for you. So thank you for staying to the end of yet another video. I do intend on making one video a week, and I do apologize for the delay from the last video. If you like this video, kindly hit the thumbs up. If you did not, you're free to hit the thumbs down button. You can leave a comment down below on your favorite piece of advice, or if you have anything to add to what I said, you can also leave that in the comment section below, because you never know who you will be able to help with that piece of advice that I may have missed. So thank you again for your love, your support, and your time, and feel free to share the video, because you never know who this video might help. So thank you, and do have a great remainder of the morning, day, or night whenever you're looking at this video. So stay safe and peace.